Hello my peeps! This is Kat aka Kakibot, and today I am bringing you a tiny little video which is all about things you can do or read or watch to make yourself a bit less sad that you can't visit Edinburgh right now. So let's start with a movie tip. This is not gonna be a live action movie, this is gonna be the 2010 animation. It's a French animated movie called The Illusionist, and it mostly takes place in Edinburgh in like the 50s, the 40s, and it is the most charming movie. It's beautifully drawn, it's really pretty, just like full of emotion, and you can really tell that the person who art directed it just had a real like feel for Edinburgh. It's just, trust me, if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. It's just stellar, it's amazing. Alternatively, if you can't find The Illusionist anywhere to stream, or if you just don't really want to spend money on watching it, maybe you can just go to Netflix and watch their Eurovision movie, which is nowhere near as good as The Illusionist, but it does have a lot of very pretty views of Edinburgh. So yeah, that would be like the cheapo version of that experience. Number 2 is, maybe unexpectedly, a video game. Yes, there is a video game which has based its map on Edinburgh and Scotland and a bit of north of England and Lake District, but that's not important for this video. Edinburgh! Yes, it is called Forza 4 and it is a racing game, and you might think, that's not gonna be any fun for me. I just wanna have all the Edinburgh feels and like walk around and make it very chill. But Forza 4 is a very accessible game, so even if you're not like a hardcore gamer, you will still really like have a lot of fun. You can just like play with the setting and basically make it like just a little leisurely drive through Edinburgh. The map is really funny because some parts of the Edinburgh map in this game are like so true to life, and but they kind of like patched parts of Edinburgh together in a way that just is not reality, so it will blow your mind how, like, if you really know Edinburgh, you're just gonna be driving from like Morningside straight to Abbey Hill and you're like, wait, what? You can also drive up to Arthur's Seat. There's actually even a race that you can take around Arthur's Seat, which is kind of like an off-road, really badass little race, and I love racing that one. Yes, and as I mentioned before, it's not just Edinburgh, you can also drive a bit more north, which looks kind of Cairngormsey, kind of Highlandsy, so that's really pretty too. Just great. And a lot of amazing Edinburgh in 4 different seasons as well. They didn't put in the Christmas markets though. So
but they're not here this year anyway.
They're not actually supposed to be here next year either. Did you hear?
No!
The Edinburgh Council had a fight with Underbelly, and they basically said there's not gonna be the Edinburgh Christmas markets as we know them, that it's gonna be more like random little stalls all around the city centre, which honestly would be better for someone who hates crowds. So yeah, sorry, that was a tiny little update. Now, a bit similar to the game, but a lot more true to life, are virtual tours. I found a really handy link. I'm gonna give it to you down below in the doobly-doo, which is like a collated list of everywhere that you can visit virtually. So some of these walks are basically hosted on Google Maps Street View. So you can visit places like the Edinburgh Zoo and the National Museum of Scotland. Super charming. And then there's also a couple of official websites of different sort of touristy sites, like the Holyrood Palace and the Surgeons Museum, which is gory but fun. And those guys, they actually host that virtual tour on their site themselves, which means that they can also add some extra info if you're in it also for learning. Yes. You can also stay right here on YouTube and visit some of the great channels that do the sort of, you know, walking videos where you can basically just imagine it's you walking through the streets of Edinburgh. I really like those. Mostly I watch these sort of videos from Japan because it just brings me great comfort this year, especially to like put on these videos and just like listen to the ambience of the city. Yeah, there's videos like this for Edinburgh as well. Let me give you some tips. I'm gonna refer to my notes. I am very prepared. Anyway, some great channels that I found interesting videos like that on were Edinburgh Walks, that's an obvious one. Walking Beast and Living Walks. I think that Walking Beast and Living Walks are not necessarily Edinburgh themed, but I did find some really nice quality walk videos on their channels. It is really hard for me to say walking video because I am Eastern European and I want to say walking video. There's an insight, linguistic insight into my brain. For the picture-perfect experience, there's always Instagram. And I noticed that Shauna from Exploring Edinburgh has published a book which is called Pockets of Pretty. Exploring Edinburgh is Instagram's probably largest Edinburgh photo account, and you probably know about it now, and I've known about it for a long time too, but I never knew that she had a book, which would make a great Christmas present, I think. It's definitely available on Amazon, but my super pro tip is that, you know, try and find it in a smaller bookshop, because I think it's a nice, good, like lawful good thing that we should all do before Christmas to help small businesses. Or at least anyone smaller than Amazon. I think that Amazon doesn't need our help. They already don't pay any taxes. Wait, YouTube is not owned by Amazon, is it?
No.
There's also a couple of smaller Instagram accounts that I thought you might not know about, and I wanted to give them a little shout out. Again, I'm gonna refer to the smart paper because I don't want to mess anyone's name up. First one is Něžná Neža. I am reading this as a Czech person would, but she's from a non-Czech Slavic country. I think Slovenia or somewhere similar. Oh, see, I'm messing up anyway. She makes a really nice atmospheric shot of not just Edinburgh, but all of Scotland. It's nice, it's nice. You will see, you have to check her out. Another person I wanna give a little shout out to is Viviendo N UK. She is from South America and most of her content is actually in Spanish. I have studied Spanish for 8 years. I can't really speak it, but I still understand some. So I really enjoy watching her stories because it gives me a little bit of an exercise in Spanish, a language that is living like a little ghost somewhere in the back of my brain. A real newcomer is Elodie who just moved to Edinburgh from California, and she has been making such beautiful pictures of California and I loved following her, and I just cannot wait to see what she comes up with in this beautiful city. She is still quarantining at this moment when I'm shooting this, but I think that she will emerge from the quarantine soon and gloriously just bless us with more of her cute photography. And number 5 for the real connoisseurs of Edinburgh. This is a Facebook page and it's called Los Edinburgh, and it basically collects pictures of Edinburgh from, you know, like 1930s through 1990s, which, like, even the 90s, like, that's already, what, 30 years ago, so that's pretty far back in history, and also that makes both me and Simon feel really old. So this Facebook page is led by David McLean, who works for The Scotsman as their like retro editor. So he's a man who knows what he's talking about. Definitely give it a look. Follow him if you think that content is interesting. I think that one is really great even for people who live here, maybe even more so. You know, I think that people who have lived here for quite a long time will find that nostalgia perhaps a little soothing, especially in this day and age. Oh well. Anyway, so that brings me to the end of this list. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe you found something quite inspiring. Please let me know in the comments below if you got inspired by any of these and if they totally like quenched your thirst for Edinburgh. That should be a t-shirt. Thirsty for Edinburgh, because I know some of you definitely are, like all the time. Just I get so many messages like, I want to go to Edinburgh. Thirsty Scots lovers. And as always, if you miss Edinburgh, maybe another good thing to do is follow me on my Instagram, Gaki Blog. I also have another Instagram account called Gaki Bot where I post my illustrations. And on both of these you might also learn about some of the great Scottish goods. Scottish inspired goods is probably a better word for it. Yes, Scottish inspired goodies designed by yours truly, and they live on my Etsy store, which is another place that gives you a great opportunity to support a small business in the run-up to Christmas. Well, anyway, it's been great to see you again, and hopefully you're not in super much pain about not being able to see Edinburgh. I will see you soon. Bye.